And welcome back to the Cincy Sports Scene podcast, your home for everything Bengals, Bearcats, Reds, and FC Cincinnati. Tonight we've got a loaded show, quick hitters on all the Cincinnati teams, our weekly trivia challenge, and then we dive into the big story, how the Bengals move forward without Joe Burrow. What does this mean for the season without Joe Burrow? What does it mean for the season, right? With James Browning's role in the future of Zac Taylor. Plus, if we got time, we'll carve out a fun Mount Rushmore twist with our Monuments segment. Buckle up, for episode 145 starts now. All right, so let's take a look. Welcome back to the show. A few things that we have going on here. It is Wednesday. We're recording on a Wednesday evening instead of our traditional Sunday nights. So we have a couple of days to digest the Joe Burrow injury, what that means. So we will be moving the Bengals segment into our topic of the week. So that way we can spend a little more time on that and we'll go forward there. But first off, we'll go right into the Bearcats. They had a big win, an expected win from this past Saturday against Northwestern State. The drubbings, we knew it was coming. But I guess the real question is, does this preseason here, does it do anything for the Bengals? Does it move the needle for the Big 12 season? Because that's going to start. They got to bye this Saturday. So next week they travel to Kansas. Should be a very competitive game, but I don't know. I mean, does what they do give them a little momentum heading into the Big 12, or is it just where we've been the last couple of years?
Maybe it gives the offense a little more, a little confidence. They were able to move the ball. I mean, Sorsby didn't even have an incomplete pass. Yeah. So, they didn't get any challenge whatsoever. I think final score was 70-0. So, they might as well have just played Finneytown. Yeah, I don't know really how much you can take away other than it's a boost of confidence to see the offense move the ball up and down the field and do whatever they want a little bit. But it's not going to be an indicator for what's to come in the Big 12. That's Northwestern State. Yeah, they're Division I FCS, but they're a bad FCS school at that as well. So, again, not too much to really take away from it. They did what they needed to do. We all expected them to blow them out of the water, which they did. So we can't really complain there. I'd be a little more worried if it was, they won 21-3 or something like that. But they didn't. They handled their business. And I don't really know what to take from it going into Big 12 play. They lost against Nebraska, so the only good team that they played, Bowling Green, is a good MAC team, but they're not a good team in general, when you're talking about the level that UC plays at. So from those two games, from the Bowling Green and Northwestern State games, it's not a whole lot to be gained other than, working the kinks out, and hopefully they get everything out that they wanted to, and that they're going to be ready to go in 2 weeks against Kansas.
Yeah, I guess that's what I, want to take away from it, is just the bounce back that Sorsby had, from the Nebraska game and then the game against Bowling Green, where he really didn't play well throwing the ball. Didn't have, good games throwing the ball either game. But, he bounced back, a team that he should have dominated against. He did. So that's a sign to me of, understanding the offense, understanding what he needs to do. And hopefully, Kansas is, you just don't know about Kansas. A lot of it goes with their quarterback. And, it's just one of those things that if their Kansas quarterback doesn't do well, we should win that game. But I don't know. Corleone went out again. He should be ready. They were saying that he's got the bye week, and they're hoping that he is ready to go. But if that doesn't, that could hurt on their defensive play.
Yeah, it definitely could. Kansas is built completely around their quarterback, Jalen Daniels. Or I think it's just Daniel, maybe.
Yeah, Jaden Daniel. Yeah.
Yeah. If he struggles, their offense just struggles. They don't have a run game outside of, the quarterback run or the read option type deal. So it really just hinges on how well you can contain him. If you let him run around, make plays all day, get into a shootout, UC's losing if it's a shootout. I'll promise you that right now. They've got to hold him, to that. It's college football, so it's going to be a little more high scoring than what we're used to. But if they can hold them to 24-ish points, I'd say they have a pretty good chance. But anything more than that, where it's kind of a back and forth, I don't like the chances at all.
Well, speaking of back and forth, FC Cincinnati had a back and forth game. I guess it was Saturday evening. They came up victorious of that. They clinched a playoff spot. So the question I pose to you, Sam, is Supporters Shield, Cup run, or both? How far can FCC really go?
I need to refresh the standings here real quick. I don't know that the Supporters Shield is going to be attainable. Let's see here. So where are my points at? So they're 2 off of Philadelphia. So I mean, it's still there with 4 to play. So I mean, that's definitely still attainable. But I'd like to see them win MLS Cup. We have a Supporters Shield. In the traditional European leagues, that is the league championship. That's
right.
What they play for. So in that sense, we have a championship. But in American sports with our playoff systems, and just they need to break the Cincinnati curse. I think. I mean, the Reds aren't going to do it. We're going to touch on how we feel about the Bengals' chances now. But if there's going to be a team that does it, it's going to be FC Cincinnati, and that's what they need to go for. I didn't, I'd love for them to win the Supporters Shield as well and do the double, but I don't care if they don't do that. I just want them to be healthy for the playoffs and go win the Cup.
Yeah. So they got a few more games to go, and
yeah, I think they've got 4 left.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on maybe the next 2 games to see where they're at. Obviously, the guys probably all want to win the Supporters Shield, but it might be just one of those things that the coach makes that decision saying, okay, we're down 5 points or 4 points with 2 games left. We're going to rest and
So I just looked at who they play next. So they've got LA Galaxy on Saturday, who's the worst team in MLS. So that you should be taking 3 points there.
Mm-hmm.
Play Orlando, who's going to be fighting. They're going to be trying to clinch a playoff spot in the East. You play New York, same situation as Orlando. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. But then you have Montreal, who's the worst team in the East. So, I mean, they've got the 2 worst teams in the league still on their schedule. Those 2, 6 points. You draw the other 2, that's 8 more points.
Who does Philly have?
Let's see who's Philly's got here. They've got New England, DC, New York City, and Charlotte. So, I mean, they've got a tougher remaining schedule for their 4 games for sure. So, I mean, it's definitely possible.
So you're saying they have a chance, right?
They definitely have a chance. That they do have to watch out for San Diego out west, since it's a whole MLS thing. It's not just a league by league or conference by conference. And they've got Atlanta, who's not any good, San Jose, who's not very good, Houston, who's not very good, and then Portland, who's decent. I mean, and right now San Diego has 56 points, so 1 more than FCC. I mean, they've got a chance. Out of the 3, it's probably the second best, I'd say. Just going off the schedule, it looks like San Diego would have the best chance. But
okay.
But again, I'm all in for the actual MLS Cup.
MLS Cup,
Supporters Shield.
And hopefully here we'll by next week or 2 weeks from now we'll be able to let you know the playoffs situation schedule and who's where if we're going anywhere or people are coming to us.
Yeah. Last regular season game is the 18th, so about a month from now.
About a month from now. So, but. Yeah, we'll see. So with that update, let's go into the Reds' September spotlight. They're making a push for the postseason. I don't know. I think they're going to leave everybody heartbroken again just because in September.
You can't get swept by the A's. You cannot
get swept by the A's, especially when New York lost 2-3. Right?
Arizona's hot. Arizona won again today.
Mm-hmm. So we got to jump 2.
I don't see it happening.
We got to jump 3 teams. It's just with 3 teams with, let's see, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 games to go. I mean, we got to go.
Right.
We got to win the next 10.
Or
at least 9
officially 3 back?
2.5, I believe.
2.5?
2.5 still. Let's see. Wild card. We are 2.5 backs. We are right at 500. Arizona's 2 back. San Francisco's 2.5 back. So actually, we got the tiebreaker with both of those teams. We got the
tiebreaker with the Mets too.
Yeah. So there is a chance.
That helps, but I mean, they've got to. But you've said they've got 10 left. They've got to win 8.
Yeah, and let's
maybe
see.
They could get away with 7, but 8.
They've got to play San Diego 2 more times. The Mets killed them last night. Then they go Washington. They got the Cubs, and then they finish out with the Marlins, which, the Marlins were the ones that started their whole losing.
Yeah.
So you never know. I mean, but the Reds have to take care of business. They have to go out, and they cannot lose.
It doesn't matter if they go 5-5.
Right. They have to go. I mean, they're pretty much 500. Well, obviously 75 and 75, but they went 7. They were 7 victories, 8 losses so far in September out of the 15 games they've played. That is not playoff baseball. It needs to be something like 10-5, and they would be sitting in the driver's seat. But they're not.
Yeah, for me, it just comes. You can't get swept by the A's. Like, they're not good. It's not like the A's are playing for a playoff spot out in the American League.
No, but what they have, the Reds don't, and that's the long ball. And the long ball got them back in the game and expanded the game. The game against St. Louis, when they won that they lost, they gave up long balls. Now, the game that we won against St. Louis, we hit 3. So the Reds might have to rethink.
No, they definitely do.
Chris Valake's approach of hitting it gap to gap, line drives, and if you hit one, it'll go out. No, I mean, you've got to get some power in this lineup. And Crawley, for those of you that remember, he was part of the show. He and I had lunch together, and we're just talking about it. And the Reds they're gonna balk at going after Schwarber, going after Alonso, any of these big bats that could help us, because it's going to come down to a money issue again. And Crawl's going to come out there and he's going to stand out in front of us and say, well, Ellie gets a raise, McLean's getting a raise, Marte's getting a raise for arbitration, Abbott's getting a raise. We got to sign Lodolo. We're signing our players, and hopefully that they're going to need to improve for next year.
Right.
We're going to run the same team back.
Exactly.
Just like the Bengals.
That's been their plan 4 straight years. Yeah. These guys, they have to improve, right?
Right.
Newsflash for you, buddy. Not a single one of them has yet. So, in fact, McLean's gotten worse. Steer's gotten worse. Ellie's gotten worse. Okay, Marte has been better.
Yeah, so here's the question that Crawley asked me. Name one position player that was above expectation, that has played above expectation coming into the season.
Marte,
that's who I said.
That's probably the only one.
Yeah.
Once they got Key Brian Hayes, I'd say Key Brian Hayes. I didn't think he'd do much of anything.
He's playing above, right. But, people would have said Ellie and probably TJ Friedel the first half of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half of the season here, and Ellie has been nursing his quad, no power, 1 home run since the All-Star game. It's not
his
very
steals
good.
Are way down.
Right, because he can't push off. His speed hits into, I don't know, we hit into so many double plays when Ellie's on first base. They don't give him a chance to steal. They're swinging at the first or second pitch and grounding into double play. I don't know how many times. I need to look it up, see how many times the Reds hit into double play when Ellie was on first with less than 2 outs, or 1 out.
Well, obviously, yeah.
yeah, but just not giving him a chance to steal is what I'm getting at. And maybe he won't because of his injury. He doesn't want it to hurt it anymore.
I mean, just as a team though, they're not.
Yeah, we don't run, right? Yeah, and that's the old American League baseball with Francona.
Right. Well, guess what? The old American League baseball, you had David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez hitting 40 homers a year.
Right.
And Kevin Youth was behind him, hitting 30.
Yeah.
Pedroia with 25. Veritek with 25.
Exactly.
You don't have one guy with 20. Which is sad. So the Yankees have 7 guys of their regulars with 20 or more, and the 2 that don't both have 19. Yeah. So all 9 of their regular starters would be number 1 on the Reds right now. It's pathetic. They built their team around their stadium. Why can we not do that?
We tried that, and it did not work.
Because we didn't have the pitching.
We didn't have the pitching, right.
We've got the pitching. So
we got the pitching, so let's go get the batters. But they don't want to pay because they know they're going to have to pay the pitching to keep them or develop the pitching, which we have. And,
that's the one thing they have been pretty good at is developing pitching. They really have.
Yeah, I would say you're probably right there. At least since Derek Johnson has been here. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. The past, 6-7 years?
Something like that, yeah. And even before, with Cueto and
right, they had a couple of years where they weren't developing anybody, but
and you had Cueto, and then you had what's his name, Castillo,
yeah,
that
Yeah, and then you kind of rehab Trevor Bauer and Sonny Gray.
Right.
They both kind of bounce back.
Yeah, but our position players have
Oh,
been horrible, right? You're trying to find that lightning in the bottle that we had with Castellanos
yeah.
or who was the other one that was there was somebody that
Free agent?
Yeah, I think like we signed him on a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal or something like that. It might be.
I mean, Naquin was,
Yeah.
well, he was more of a waiver guy.
Right.
So was Drury. Drury was more of a waiver guy.
Yeah. I don't
know that there was
remember.
really
It might have been just Castellanos that I'm thinking of is that we signed him and he had a great year and opted out.
That was Castellanos. Yeah, he was 2 years. COVID year, and then he had his breakout years, all-star year, I guess.
Yep. But we weren't committed to winning, so he said, I'm out of here. So there you go.
He wanted to come back too, and they didn't. They didn't want him back for whatever reason.
I mean, he hasn't played very well in Philly, but I don't think he meets the metrics. Well, they were. Yeah, I tell you what, they're planning on Reese Hines being out there. They're planning on Friedel and who else? Who did we get rid of?
Who was the
Fraley? Those guys,
Fraley,
and just like but I don't know. So as we move on, the Red season here is winding down in 2 weeks, and we'll revisit our predictions and preseason predictions. Yeah. It's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly.
90.
Yeah. Francona, you're killing me. And then we'll talk about what the Reds need to do in the off season. But if they make the playoffs, and you better believe it, we'll be right here and rooting them on, cheering them on.
And we
still are fans, but sometimes reality sets in. And the other question I posed Crawley at lunch was, maybe instead of trying to find the power bat and the power arm and things like this, maybe we need to look at a medical staff, our training staff, nutritionist, because how many guys here in the last 3 years since 2023 have we had that just ran out of gas at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
And I understand it's a big 162, but you know what? It's 162 for the other 29 teams. You don't see a lot of these teams that are in a playoff hunt just out of gas. I mean, just don't have anything, lifeless. And the Reds are showing, maybe not as a whole, but individually, there's a lot more of our players that are just out of gas. And they might say, well, they're the youth, they're not used to the grind of the 162. But if you're young, you should have the energy, right? You should have all of that stuff. Yeah, you might hit that wall, like they say, but usually you can find your second wind.
Like, I don't want to hear these guys are, most of them that we're talking about are in their third year now.
Right. That's what I was getting to. Is like, you can't use that as an excuse anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to say, what do we need to do differently in the off season to better prepare ourselves to play 162 games.
Right. Well, so here's my thing too. You bring that up, and we mentioned, Ellie's been nursing this thigh or calf or whatever it is, quad injury, and yet he's out here playing every single game this year. If he's dealing with something, give him a day off here or there. I mean, so that way he doesn't run out of gas. So I mean, you've got all these guys that can play a bunch of positions, and that's, what you're hanging your hat on is this quote unquote depth. It's not really depth because they're not big league players. It's depth because they're on the 26 man,
There's
you rotate the guys in a little bit, I mean, I don't know.
That's so funny you brought that up because we were talking about this and I was saying pretty much the same thing. We need to rotate them. I said, some of you that are my age, you'll be like going, remember the Big Red Machine, Sparky Anderson? And people will point back, well, the Big Red Machine, I think it was in 76, only played 62 games or 64 games together. The grade 8 only played. When you had 7 Hall of freaking Famers,
right, one of them could take a day off.
Yeah.
Miss a beat. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could stick a Doug Flynn playing second base for Joe Morgan or Merv Retman out there for George Foster or, Champ Summers somewhere, or Bill Plummer catching, Bill Plummer was the one, catching 2 games a week because Johnny Bench was, getting a day off here or there.
Yeah.
So it's like Yeah, the Reds don't have that. They don't have somebody. They don't have four other guys in their lineup that can pick up the slack if, say, a Ellie De La Cruz goes out. And, whereas the Reds would have Rose and Morgan and maybe Ken Griffey and Johnny Bench in there still. You got
Right.
Perez. For crying out
your
loud.
1 through 5. Like, yeah.
It's like, okay, Perez gets a day off. Danny Dreesen comes in for him, right? Danny Dreesen, the reason they let Perez go after 76 because Danny Dreesen he batted like 500 in the World Series as the DH. They're like, okay, this kid's ready to play. We're going to let Perez go. And Dreesen had a nice career, but I think most people would rather have Tony back just because he was the glue to that franchise as far as keeping the cup, the clubhouse, and he wasn't called Big Doggy for nothing. And it's just funny but we run out Espinal out in right field, who's never played right field before.
Right.
First base one time. We got Sal Stewart playing first base, who's never played first base in his life. It's just like, what are we doing? We can't platoon people with crappier people. If you're going to have a true platoon
when you don't have
system,
people pick up.
Right. You have to, they have to be equal. Whoever you're platooning for, they have to be, and a lot of you out there listening probably say they are equal because they equally suck,
Yeah, they both suck, yeah.
Right. It's like, Fraley was batting at 220. Will Benson's batting 220. CES was batting 194 and Espinal was hitting actually 250, 300, early on. But, I think we spent enough on the Reds. We'll dive more into the Reds as they, hopefully, even though it sounds negative, but hopefully they, make that run because we want some positivity here on this.
Yeah. We want the front office to have a reason to go do something this offseason.
Right.
Hey, we made the playoffs. We're a guy away. We're a bat away. Whereas we missed again. You know what? We'll just stand pat. Hope these guys get better.
Yeah. Well, I just hope, it's probably a double-edged sword, right? Because if we make the playoffs, we don't need to add anybody because we made the playoffs.
I forgot. Yes. We don't have the intelligence at the general manager position and at the ownership level.
What's happening?
We're a bat away.
What's happening is down there on the banks, there's one big front office. That's where Mike Brown and Bob Castellini, that's where they share an office. They share the office because they're both too cheap to build their own. And that's where they
one desk, one chair.
And then they're saying, hey, so this year,
you guys want to share scouts too?
Yeah. What are you guys doing this year? You guys going to go after somebody in free agency? No? Okay. Well, you guys won't. Maybe we'll sign somebody to, give us the good press. And then next year, you guys can take
it's your turn next year. Yeah. The Bengals re-signed their big three. So, maybe fingers crossed that this is the Reds off season. So,
oh, mercy. All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're sharing scouts at this point with how bad these guys draft.
Oh my word. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's try to get some positivity here. We're going to play a little trivia. If you want to play along, there's a couple of ways you can do that. The first listener to correctly email us the answer at CincySportScene. That's all one word with two S's there. SportsScene at yahoo.com, or you can DM us on Instagram or Twitter at CincySportScene as well. With your answer, we'll read it on air if you get it correct. I got a shout out to a couple of people. They named 3 of 4 of the trivia from last week. A lot of them forgot Billy Martin. They got Davey Johnson, Buck Showalter, and Dusty Baker, but they did not get Billy Martin. So the question was, there have been 4 managers to take 4 different teams to the playoffs. Who were they? And those were those 4 guys. Sam has this trivia, so go ahead, son.
Yeah, so we'll see. If you get this pretty easily, then I've got a second one too, but I didn't know this answer, so we'll see how much better you know college football than me. So name the first person to win a Heisman Trophy and also a national championship as a head coach.
Is that Spurrier?
You got it, yep.
Yeah.
The old ball coach.
Steve Spurrier. All right, what's the next one?
So the next one here, a little tougher, is where'd it go? What is the Mosi Tatupu Award given for in college football? Mosi Tatupu.
It's probably some sort of interior defensive line award.
Nope.
No.
It's not it. They do have that award, but that's not this one.
Is it? It's not like a native-born assistant coach?
It has to do with an actual position.
Okay.
Or position group, I guess.
Kickers?
It's not kickers, but
punters?
not kickers.
Long snappers.
Close.
Holders? Centers. No, it's not center. That's the Remington Award.
You were close with long snapper. I mean, you're in the ballpark there.
So it's not center, long snapper. Holder?
No.
So it's not.
You've got the right unit. You're just not quite the right area.
Punter?
Not punter. That's the Ray Guy Award.
Oh, yeah, that's the Ray Guy Award. Kick returner. Punt returner.
You're close. It's not either of those, though. Yeah. You got the right unit.
Is it the special teams coach?
Not the coach. It's a player.
I don't know. I mean, what else is there? There's the.
I mean, the guys they're on the punt team, kind of outside. The Gunners. There you go.
The Gunners. Okay.
Gunners.
The Gunners. Ooh, okay. All right. Well, that was a tough one.
So. Yeah, I just saw it on there, and I was like, I didn't even know they had an award for that.
I didn't either. So now you know. The Mui Talusa whatever. Tatupu Award is the Gunner Award. All right. Learned something here on the Cincy Sports Scene. All right. So that was enough positivity for the day. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about the Bengals, and we're gonna push our Mount Rushmore down a little bit. But Joe Burrow's injury happened in the second quarter. Jake Browning came in, looked like a backup there, threw 3 picks, 3 touchdowns, led the 2-minute offense, 93 yards for a score, won the game. So what does this latest injury do for the outlook of the Bengals?
I mean,
obviously we need to change our predictions.
Right.
Score, because they're not winning 13 games.
No.
That's what I had them at, 13-4.
I don't know. I think I had them at 13-4 as well.
Or I think you were 12-5.
I may have been 12-5.
Yeah, because I think I was 13-4. I think you were 12-5.
Yeah, but yeah, we both had them winning their division. So I think that's.
I don't think that's doable.
No, it's not.
It was going to be a tough road ahead, even with a healthy Burrow because of the defense and the line play. I think. And next week's game, we should beat Minnesota because Carson wins.
Right, that's the thing is backup quarterbacks for whatever reason tear our defense apart.
That was with Lou.
Yeah,
that was with Lou.
Golden was there too, though.
Yeah, but Lou was the guy.
Yeah,
calling stuff and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. So
yeah, it was. I was at work. It was on my break around 1:30. Pulled up YouTube TV and. Literally, Joe was just sitting on the ground, and I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, he wasn't like doing anything. I was like, "Oh, maybe a shoe fell off." Trainers come running out, and I'm like, "Oh goodness!" And then he's limping off the field. I'm like, "What I miss?" And then they just showed it. I was like, "Oh, he probably just rolled his ankle or something." Not a big deal.
Turf toe, grade 3.
Torn That's ligaments. The thing with Burrow. He's always he doesn't just major. Sprain an ankle.
Right. Yeah. It is major with him.
Like, why is he having injuries that nobody else gets?
It's just
they need to whatever they're doing with him specifically is not working.
I don't know if he might be one of those guys that is just injury prone.
Well, he is that
and then when
he's always
and then the guy just a lot of people have said he's going to be the next Andrew Luck. He's just going to quit because he's getting hit too many times and stuff. I disagree with that because Andrew Luck did not enjoy playing football. He didn't. You ask Colts guys, and they're like, he really did not enjoy it. Yeah, getting hit and getting sacked was part of it. But even when he was at Stanford, the coaching staff said, he really did not like playing football. He played football because he was good at it, but that was it. Burrow loves football. He's a footballer for life.
Right. Yeah.
So to me, he's going to play. He got Higgins and Chase big contracts, so he's not going to pull a Carson Palmer and say, I'm out of here.
I'm not worried about that.
He might pull a holdout to say we need to get better offensive line people in here, but he's not going to throw them under the bus right now. He's not going to do that. He's not that kind of guy.
I've seen, people say, oh, he's going to, pull a Carson Palmer, request a trade, or say he's retiring. And I don't see that, because the main reason why is the Bengals have literally done everything he's wanted them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They, obviously they paid him. Zac Taylor, the head coach. That's because Burrow wants Zac there. Okay. If Burrow wanted him out, he'd be out. And they paid his two highest paid receivers, or his two receivers. They re-signed them, gave them extensions. If Burrow said, hey, forget Higgins, get me 2 offensive linemen with that money, they'd have done that.
Right.
Okay, but he didn't say that. He wanted his receivers because he has confidence in himself to be able to maneuver around that offensive line. And I will also say this. A lot of Luck's injuries were nagging, repetitive injuries. Burrow's are all freak injuries to different parts of the body. Yes, it sucks. He is injury prone. Yes.
But every time you go underneath the knife, the older you get, he's 30.
Yeah.
Right? Or no, he's not 30 yet.
He's a year younger than me.
So. Yeah, so he's 29.
He's 28. He'll be 29 in
December.
December.
29. Yeah. So those surgeries are going to add up, and your body's not going to be able to recover like it used to do as you get older. I can vouch for that. And, I don't know. Something has to change, right? I mean.
Well, you look at these PFF grades, and there's a large enough sample now.
Right.
Where the offensive line grade, when Browning's at quarterback versus Burrow, and it's a noticeable, sizable difference. Like, I mean,
well, why is
2023, I'll tell you why. It's because when Browning is in there, the offense is the offense that Zac Taylor actually wants to run. That is his offense.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That is his true offense. His offense is not the offense that he runs with Burrow.
No.
That is specifically for Joe Burrow to do what he feels comfortable doing.
Right.
Exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Difference.
I think they seriously need to have a conversation with Joe and say, no, you're running this offense.
Yeah.
And if you keep getting hurt, okay, then whatever, I guess we'll go back to how you want to run it, because you're going to get hurt anyways. And if he gets hurt again like that, you got to look for a different quarterback.
You might have to. Yeah.
You just have to. You can't have every other season is just ruined because this guy can't stay healthy.
Right. Right.
And I'm not to that point yet, but one more and I will be.
Did your room go dark all of a sudden?
Yeah, the sun went down. I don't have a light in this room.
You don't, because I can hardly see you, so it's just.
Turn on the TV here, maybe that'll.
All right, so sorry, folks. I mean, you're watching this. There's it's just me really bright, and then Sam's got a shadow over here.
I don't know that really did much.
Yeah, that did more. At least we can see your face.
Get a little closer to the laptop here.
But
I think Zac Taylor needs to sit Joe down and say, hey, we're running the offense I want to run now, because it's helping the offensive line.
It is.
It's simplifying it for Jake Browning, so he's being successful. So there's no reason to not think Joe Burrow can't be successful running this offense.
Right. Now, to Burrow's credit, he commands that offense. He likes to be in the shotgun. He likes to see the reads ahead of time. He knows. I mean, he's just that guy, right? He's a Tom Brady. He's a Joe Montana. He's that guy that can say,
no, he 100% is.
Boom. But, our best drive of the year was the very first drive against Cleveland. Under center, ran the ball, play action, bootleg passing. You keep the defense of line honest.
Exactly. They can't just pin their ears back.
Right. I'm sorry. When you're in shotgun and you do the RPO, well, you're not Lamar Jackson. You're not taking off running with it. And I know Burrow said that he wants to run the ball more. No, you need to be a Tom Brady in the pocket passer. You use your feet, slide, do some things like that, run for a first down when you absolutely have to. But, he's got too happy of a feet for my liking. I mean, he dances around when he doesn't need to dance around. Part of that is because I don't think he trusts his offensive line because he's been hurt so many times, which is only human nature. In your clock, you're at 2 seconds and you're like, crap, I'm going to get hit sometime. I better start dancing around. And he doesn't. But I like the fact that Browning likes to be under center. He likes the play action pass. He likes the bootlegs.
He likes the screen game.
And that is all you need to give your offensive linemen an extra second to block. because the
It's
defense
just a
then
split
has
second's
to
all they need. Yeah.
honor that run. They're not pinning their ears back saying, we're going after Joe, But now Zac can see, and that brings us to, we talked about what the latest injury does for the outlook. What does Jake bring to the table? I think we just mentioned that. So now it comes down to, is Zac still coaching for his job, or is he going to get a pass because
No, he
Burrow's
gets a
injured?
pass.
You think so?
I do. Yeah. Especially if Browning plays decent and they still have an 8-9, 9-8 record, 100% will. I mean, and to be honest, he probably should. I mean, I've been on him for a while just because we want that next step, and
Right.
the team's good enough for it. But I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, it's not his fault they didn't sign anybody for defense 2 years ago when the offense was historically good.
Right.
He did his part by bringing in a new DC. He's not the GM. He doesn't sign anybody. I don't know how much input he's even able to give on who he wants. That's just how the Brown family operates. Yeah, it's tough because we see he has two different offenses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's got to just have one. At this point, it is next year. I know people are saying 3 months. I don't see it. I don't.
3 months. He's not coming back to play.
Right.
I
don't see it.
Because it's going to take him two weeks just to get back into the rhythm of the game. Because look at when he sat out the preseason games. I mean, the offense was never firing on all cylinders until week 3.
Right.
Week 4, it's too late then. Let Jake ride it. Let's see what he can do.
I mean, and
then trade Jake for somebody,
Unfortunately, he's a free agent after this year.
Yeah,
so
he is.
They can't trade him.
Trade him before the trade deadline, and put Rippon in there, and who cares? Especially if Jake does a couple of things.
The thing is, if Browning's good enough to trade, our record will probably be all right. And at that point, don't trade him. Might as well let him ride it out. And if our record sucks,
get something for him. Get a safety, get a corner, get a D lineman for him. There's 15 teams that he should be able to start for in this league.
That's the recipe, honestly, is how well the defense is going to play. Because we're not going to win shootouts.
No.
The defense has to play a lot better.
They have to.
They're lucky that Trevor Lawrence sometimes just forgets he's playing football. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a number. Well, I take that back. Jamarcus Russell is the stupidest number 1 overall pick ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, Trevor Lawrence is just awareness. I mean, woof. I don't know how you can be 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and still throw the football.
That was
awful. That's worse than Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's
awful.
That line judge was just standing there.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of looked and threw the flag. And it was just he was like, wait a minute, did I just see that?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And he was 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
5 yards past it, yeah. Whew, those Clemson boys.
Right.
Miles Murphy.
So
there you go.
We go up against a quarterback like that. Yeah, we're going to have a chance. Lamar Jackson's not doing that.
No.
Okay? Josh Allen's not doing that.
No.
Jordan Love's not doing that in a couple weeks when we play Green Bay.
They're just going to run it. I mean, they don't need to pass the ball, right? So.
Well, yeah, they're going to run it. So the defense is going to have to play much better. They're not going to be gifted these opportunities like they were the first 2 weeks.
And then the last question I have is will this finally convince the Bengals front office to invest in the interior offense? They've invested their monies in the tackles. They always value tackles. They don't value the guards. We're always going through the heap pile saying, okay, who didn't make it. Yeah, they might be good for a year, but they're 10 years in, and there's a reason why they got cut.
There's a reason why guys are still unsigned after training camp ends.
Right. There is a reason.
And we saw that reason.
Yeah. Yes,
on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, their offensive line depth sucks. Their whole game plan was Cody Ford's just going to be our 6th offensive lineman. They only have 8, or they only had 8. I don't know if they've made any moves to get up to 9. But they went into week 1 with only 8 offensive linemen.
Hey, that's versatility, right? Like I said, the Reds and them share the front office because the Reds, we want to value people who can play multiple positions.
Exactly. Cody Ford
can play 3.
Yeah. Oh, he sucks at guard and center
Right
too.
tackle.
So yeah.
So there we go. All right. So next week, after the game on Sunday, so we'll be coming back to you Sunday in a couple of days, and we'll readjust our predictions based. I want to see what they do with a full week
of
preparation with Jake Browning against a decent team.
That scares me too, because Brian Flores now has a full week to game.
Yeah, he does, but I would say Minnesota's offensive line is worse than ours.
Yeah.
They are worse than ours. So
this could be a very low scoring game.
It could be, or it could be just a 55, because so many turnovers and run back for touchdown score. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's up in Minnesota. It's going to be loud. So we'll see. Good luck, to our boys, because we definitely want them to, 3-0. Holy cow. I mean, I'll take that.
Right.
I mean,
when's the last time we were 3-0? 2015, maybe? I think it was 2015.
Maybe.
Yeah, the year Dalton got hurt, because I think they were like 8 or 9-0 at one point.
They were 9-0, I think. I think he got hurt.
They had lost a game. I think they were like 10-1 when he got hurt.
No, I thought the game that he got hurt.
He got hurt against the Steelers.
Steelers, yeah. And I thought that was our first loss.
Maybe it was. I was thinking we had one before that.
Maybe we did. Maybe we'll look it up. Look it up here. I wish we had our producer here, but we don't. All right. So we've got a little time left. Do you want to go ahead and do the Mount Rushmores of Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and explain this?
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows what, Mount Rushmore is, your top 4. We've seen everybody do a bunch of different Mount Rushmores. I've never seen anybody do a Mount Rushmore that could potentially include Mount Rushmore. So we're going to do a Mount Rushmore of national landmarks, monuments type deal, So yeah, I mean, if you want to go first, we can go one by one, or you can give all 4,
sure,
or however you want to do it.
So my 4 Mount Rushmores, I'll do that. We'll just go 4 since, we're at 50 minutes here. We're going to do the White House, obviously, would be 1. The Statue of Liberty would be 2. I think the Lincoln Memorial is 3. And I have to put the Mount Rushmore on for 4. I have to put that on there. So Mount Rushmore would be the 4th one. There.
The 4th one. Okay. You put Mount. I ended up putting Mount Rushmore on as well, so I snuck it in there for it. It just didn't feel right not to.
Well, yeah. What would it be called then? What we couldn't
exactly. Yeah.
You
kind of have to for the purpose of this exercise, even if maybe it's not. You just kind of have to. So Mount Rushmore for me. I also had Statue of Liberty. I did the Arch, Gateway Arch, in St. Louis, and then the Washington Monument. Was my 4th one.
Very good.
So, I mean, there's definitely lots to choose from. I'm sure we missed some. Probably missed some great ones. So I'm sure we'll get some feedback
you can
on
just
that.
you can just go, Monument Hall, the mall, and
that alone. The World War II Memorial. Definitely deserves to be
Vietnam
on there.
Memorial.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many there just in DC alone, but across this great, vast United States. Forgot the Arizona Monument out, USS Arizona out Pearl Harbor one, out in Pearl Harbor. That's something to see, witness. So there's a lot. So those of you listening out there, go ahead and drop your top 4 national monuments that you would put on Mount Rushmore. I mean, we'll see if they match ours, or if you have something.
See if you include Mount Rushmore as well. See if you cave to the pressure.
Exactly. You may or you may not. So that about wraps it up for episode 145 of the Cincy Sports Scene podcast. We hit the latest on the Reds, FC Cincinnati, and UC. Tackled our trivia question. Once again, you can drop it in these comment sections on YouTube, or email us at cincysportsscene@yahoo.com, or find us on Twitter and Instagram and leave your comments there. Broke down what life will look like for the rest of the way without Joe Burrow. And a big thanks to all of you out there for tuning in. Make sure you do us a favor and hit that like, subscribe, and drop your takes, please, in this comment section. And don't forget, we'll be back next week, September 21st, with our next Mount Rushmore debate. We're going to do letters A, B, and C. And what that looks like is we're famous names, A, B, and C. We're going to take one name. We'll just say for this purposes, Adams for A. And we got to come up with the 4 best Adamses that we can put on a Mount Rushmore.
Last name. No Adam Dunns are sneaking on.
Right, exactly. Last names only. So until then, thanks for riding with us, and we'll see you next week. Everybody take care.
See you.